Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing? I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here. Today we are going to talk about something completely different. I want to talk about my writing experience. All my failures, and I'm hoping anyone that's watching this that is writing or want to be a writer, I hope you watch this and you just understand like my faults so you don't have to have these faults. When this video comes out, I don't know if TikTok got banned or not. I know it says it's supposed to on like the 19th. TikTok does get banned, then, well, clearly you gotta figure out another way to promote because TikTok was just super easy. That being said, let's get into it. So when I first started writing, there's a couple of things I failed at doing, and now I realize all the failures I made, I learned from them now. So now it's like starting this year and moving forward, I shouldn't have these faults. But a lot of these are just small little issues that I now learn. One of the biggest things I'll tell every single writer that wants to be a writer or anything, editor, you need an editor without a doubt. When I first wrote The Battle of Evermore, I'm gonna tell you guys, it was not good. It was rough, and I didn't have an editor. I had a coworker that was a beta reader that said she wanted to read it, and I was perfectly cool with that. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, you can read it. And she was like halfway through it, and she's like, there's a lot of errors I'm noticing. Is it okay if I edit it? And I was like, well, I'm still looking for an editor. So at the time I was like, well, maybe. But she's like, just give me $100 and I'll edit it for you. And I realized I was totally cool with it. And she took 3 months to do it, and she told me, she's like, I should have charged you way more. I didn't know it was that much work. I got it back, and I still found so many errors, but like my mind was like, oh, it's fine, and I just released it. And now I finally have a great editor that changed up the whole book that actually is good, and I'm really thankful for that. And because of my editor, she has pushed me to become a better writer. So now I'm in a spot where I'll write a book, and in my mind, I'm already like, no, I shouldn't have this because I know it might get cut. I know it's probably not gonna be that good. And it pushes me to be a better writer now. With the first draft for me, I don't really think too deeply about it. I just write whatever the hell I want to write. And then the second, third drafts is when I start editing more, adding more, taking out more. That's what I usually do when it comes to my process. But within a good editor is going to push you really far. Another thing is, I'm going to let everyone know, make sure your beta readers are some real people, not like AI or anything, but I mean like some real people are going to tell you the truth if your book is bad or what you need to change differently. When I first came out with The Battle of Evermore, my group was not very good. They all told me, your book's great, I don't see anything wrong with it. And now I immediately regret all of that. Now I have my mom, my two sisters, and my girlfriend, and I got my buddy and his wife, all will read my book and they will tell me the honest to God truth. That's what you need. You need to have that happen. And it's so good to have some real people tell you what you need to change, why this book is all right, what needs to be done. Just, it's so much better that way instead of having people tell you, your book's fine, your book's fine. Because, for example, TikTok was letting people sell these god-awful books that were just not good and they were disgusting. They would just sell out. Now, I thought about doing that for like promotional stuff on TikTok, but I also didn't want to be in that group because I feel like I didn't earn it. Like, I felt like my book is better than some of these other books. I didn't want to be in the TikTok, the booktok community of selling their books, you know, if that makes any sense. Because there is some books that were just like, wow, not very good. So I didn't want to be in that category. And there's a lot of books that are like that. And I think it's just not the greatest choice. Now, if you want to sell and make a quick buck, yeah, you use it. But I didn't want to do that. I want people, because we live in times where it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to make a living and your hard-earned money. I want you, if you buy my book, I want you to feel like, hey, it was worth the $12 when you buy my book. I don't want you to buy it on TikTok or anything and be like, wow, this book is god awful. I don't want people to do that. I want you to read it and actually enjoy it and read the rest of the series and read all the rest of my books because you enjoy it, not feel like you wasted your money on it. That's always been my goal with this, and that's why I felt like with TikTok it felt like dirty, kind of like that. So that's how I always looked at it. The other thing is, so you learn a lot with promotional stuff, and my best advice is for anyone when it comes to promotional. Now, audiobooks, I'm still working on my own audiobooks because getting a narrator is so expensive and sometimes it's just easier to do it yourself. And that's what I want to do. I want to try and narrate all my stuff. I actually am getting like a cast to help narrate and do every voice in my whole entire book series. I think that'd be so cool because my voice is too deep to do a woman's voice, and I've tried doing it. It really hurts, so I won't be able to do it. I thought about trying to get like a cast to do all these voices for like all these girls I have and all these other guys I have in my book series. I think it'd be really cool, and I think it would build the book. And it just really feels like, wow, this is like a real, like, I don't know. I just seen a lot of people do that stuff with like comic books and stuff. And I think it'd be kind of fun to try it with my series. So that would take way longer to do, but I think it'd be totally worth it in the end. But when it comes to the book promotional stuff, my best advice is, and I learned this with all my past failures with Newtown and with the Battle of Evermore and with the Path of the Wolf. Even with Newtown, I learned that I should have done things a little differently. And now it's like, when I release my new standalone book, which will come out in 26, because I'm releasing books 3 and 4 and a novella this year to finish the Stone of Kings series, so that's just done. But with the standalones, it's gonna be a little different for I can have ARC readers and everything. And one of the best ways to get ARC readers is using book sirens. It's like $2 per book, and you can put a limit of how many. You can have like up to 100 readers. And because I did that, Newtown did really good for its reviews, which was awesome. And then what you do is you make your book free for Kindle Unlimited. You just promote it for free books. There's a lot of things you can do, and you just gotta do a lot of research. But I learned that by doing a lot of research. Like, I can't think of all the names off the top of my head, but book sirens is the best for ARCs, which is important. I learned how important ARCs are for your books. Like, your books for the ARC is so important on release day when you start getting those reviews in on your books for Amazon and on Goodreads. It pushes your book a lot, and I didn't realize that until now. Now, am I making a living from my books? No, because I'm still learning. Newtown, the biggest issue I had with Newtown was on my fault. After I got done with the editing, with the editor, I should have double checked it again, because like, we're all humans. So after she gave me back, I went through all the edits of what she recommended, and I just didn't double check after, because there was some error still that was my fault that I didn't double check it. I will always wear that on my sleeve, because she's like, well, these are things I recommend you changing, and then she'll like do lines of like what should be cut. What I did, instead of after I was done with that, I just didn't read it through again to make sure it makes sense. You know, I didn't do any of that, and I wish I did. That's just a fault of mine, and I will always wear that on my sleeve. So when I release the book in 2026, which will probably be around the summertime of 26, I will have, starting now all the way until the summer of 26, to make sure it's all good, because all my books are all edited for the series besides the novella. But I have book 3 already edited, book 4 already edited, and now I'm just double checking them for any mistakes. And the novella will get edited probably in May, and then after that, the standalone book that will be released in 2026 will be edited probably by the fall. And then I'm really gonna grind and make sure it's fine. Like, I'm gonna let my beta readers read it one more time before I get it edited, and then after I go through all the edits that my editor sends me, I'm gonna let them read it again, and then I'm gonna read it through again, and then go from there, and it should be good. Hopefully by then I'll be able to have it that'll be my first audiobook. Now the Stone of King series, I don't know how well it's gonna work for the audiobooks. I don't know how long that'll take. I just feel like it's gonna take a long time, because you got a lot of casts for it, so we'll see what happens. Those are just some of the things that I learned, and I want everyone else to understand, like, when you're doing this, make sure you just learn from my mistakes so you don't have these issues. Now, am I saying if you learn from these mistakes, are your books gonna be bestsellers? I have no idea. It just really depends. Sometimes it is just luck. Doesn't matter how much you push. Sometimes it just happens and you just don't get lucky. And that's the truth. But you have to keep going, and you cannot stop. That's the honest to God truth. It's just like with this YouTube thing, is I push. I'm learning so many things of how I should do videos differently that you actually start seeing results eventually. And that's just the honest to God truth, and that's what everyone needs to understand. Those are just my advice of what you should do for your books. Just take the advice, and hopefully it works out better for you than it did for me. If you guys made it to the end of the video, let me know down below if you have any advice for me when it comes to writing. I would love to know, of course. If this advice helps you, please let me know also. It's just really important, because I'm just wanting people to be successful. I want people to have their books in other people's hands. That would be awesome. That's the whole point. You want people just to read your books. That's more important than making tons of money and everything. But of course, make sure you guys stay safe, stay humble, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay weird.